YouTube squad, Retain gang, my spiritual family. What is up, everybody? I hope y'all are doing well this morning or afternoon or evening or wherever this video finds you. So, first of all, a shout out to the new subscribers. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers already, which is kind of crazy. I did not expect this to happen. So kind of shocking, but really encouraging, because that means that many more people are interested in growing spiritually and taking matters into their own hands, as it were, and giving their life over to God, really, which is that's what this is all about, you guys. That's what this channel is really all about. Semen retention is a part of a larger puzzle, a larger holistic way of life that leads us in the right direction, that puts us in a better position to be able to live up to our potential, let's say, because we all have potential that is at current unrealized. I think that goes across the board. That's a universal thing I could say about any human, no matter where they're at in their life. On some level, they have a potential they have yet to realize. And so that means that we always have work to do. We always have somewhere to go, something to do, something meaningful and worthwhile to achieve, even if we're in our old age. I think life is a constant series of opportunities to grow closer to God, essentially. That's what this really is all about, you guys. All the good, all the bad, all the difficulties, everything that it includes can really be alchemized into that one pursuit of growing closer to Him. Whatever that means to you. You have your own personal relationship with Him because you are your own unique individual soul. There's nobody else like you, and nobody else is going to relate to God the way that you do, because you are unique. Yet that God that we all are relating to is the same singular God. So, all right, topic. Before I ramble for too long, I wanted to talk just a little bit about dating on SR. So, your boy is over 9 months now into this journey, longer than I thought I'd make it. Now that I'm this far, I'm thinking I might as well just make a year a goal. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna hit at least a year before I even think about changing anything. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that this is where I'm at in life right now. I never would have guessed. Was never part of my game plan, you guys. I was most of my life, as I've mentioned, those of you that know me a little bit, most of what I do for work is in the realm of music. I'm a musician primarily. Anything I do outside of that, outside of coaching, holistic health coaching, personal training, and music, that's the stuff I care about. When I'm doing that for work, it's hard to even call it work. That's my love. Do other work when needed to supplement the income, but that's really where I'm coming from. But so I went into music at a young age for a variety of reasons, partially just because I love music and I've always been attracted to that, and I'm naturally a creative type of person, and I was surrounded by music growing up, and it was a natural inclination. But also, around age 13, 14, 15, I started to realize girls liked musicians. Girls I noticed that rock stars tend to have groupies, it's like, so that became appealing, because I started to think, well, if I get really good at music, if I'm a touring musician, if I'm on stage in front of lots of people, I'm going to be able to have my pick. I'm going to have a selection of women to choose from at any given time, and they're going to be coming after me. I'm not going to have to do any of the work. I just focus on this music thing, and the women are going to chase me, and it's going to be great. And I'm going to have all kinds of hot sex with all kinds of beautiful women all across the world. This is old me. This is not current me. Current me has no interest in doing this. Old me, just to be real with you, that's part of the motivation as to why I went so hard on the music. It wasn't just love of music. That was a big part of it, but it's also love of women, obsession with, you could say, and everything that a woman proved she could do for me as I was developing in those years. Y'all catch my drift. I think you do. If you wouldn't be on SR if you didn't know what it was like to have your heart and soul crushed by a woman. But you see, we have to give them that ability. We as men have to take full responsibility. So if like I get a little bit irked when I hear, a man talking like as if he's a victim of some woman, when at the same time, it can be true. Women can be very abusive, very manipulative in relationships. They can be just as abusive and forceful and aggressive as men can at times. However, this isn't really about male, female. This is just about personal responsibility and accountability. If you're in a relationship and you're being abused, it is your responsibility to leave that relationship. And if you stay in it, the subsequent abuse, you really have to take credit for on a certain level. You can't blame the other person. So having said that, dating now, it hits different. And so I'm finally at the stage of this thing where I'm ready to explore that. I've kind of been exploring that a little bit, and I'm noticing like I'm not really the same person, but at the same time, a lot of the same tendencies that I had that led me to this path are still there. Things that I didn't think were still there apparently are still there, and I'm discovering that through just doing a little bit of dating and kind of exploring that, and connecting with a female that has an attraction for me, and that I have an attraction for her, and just feeling into that, and the chemistry and the dynamics of all of it, but without any intention of like getting her in bed or anything like that. That's obviously not something I'm trying to accomplish with any female at current. But in this process, I've started to notice some things. And so we've talked about this before, and this is a common subject on many semen retention channels, how this practice will change the way you perceive the world, the way you perceive yourself, the way you perceive women. Your perception in general starts to change, and you're able to discern things better than you used to. It becomes, your ability to tell truth from fiction, I would say, increases as you progress with semen retention. I don't know how that works. I don't know why that works, but it's definitely a thing. So I'm noticing some kind of common trends about women, and I'm trying not to be sexist. There's exceptions to every rule, just some general things. But I think modern women too are different. The different generations are sort of different, and it's not about being a woman so much as it about being a woman in this society and how society affects them and how they respond to that. But it's a nature nurture thing, and it's a little bit of both going on here as to why so many women are this way. But what I've noticed is that women, as I'm kind of exploring this more with my new pair of glasses, they definitely want attention. Let's say they want your attention, but they only want it. They don't want it to the extent where they feel like they're needed. It's a hard thing to describe, but what I'm noticing here, but it's like, I've just noticed like the few kind of like dates I've had, experiences with women, there's a sense of like, they really want me to ask about them, to think about them, to wonder about them. And this is like the energy I feel. And I think most women have their own kind of strategies if they're interested in a man, as to how to ensure that he's going to be thinking about her, if you know what I mean. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Some women are very manipulative about this, and they'll play games, they'll play mind games, they'll do things on purpose, they'll leave you on red and not text back, like deliberately, you know, things like that. But a lot of times it's not intentional. It's just I don't know how to explain it. It's just part of the female nature. I think they just instinctively understand how to increase a man's interest. At least the clever ones do, and they do it without using their bodies or sexuality. And if they do that, some women do that, but that's as a man of God, as a semen retainer, that's right out. If that's the way that they're trying to gain your attention, that's just an enormous red flag. Go ahead and pursue a girl like that if you want, but you're guaranteed to get betrayed, and she's she's in lust. And we're working on getting out of the lust mentality, the lust trap. So you definitely want to avoid women that, you know, are going to fish for you using their tatas or their junk or their whatever. I'm trying to be careful with my language here. Y'all know what I mean, though. But the more clever women, the more evolved women, let's say, have other strategies. And so I'm just noticing all this stuff. It's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's just, it is what it is. But it's definitely affecting me and my vibration and my energy level and my level of focus without even having, relapsed on retention or anything like that, or even done any like edging or anything like that. I've been on my game, you guys. I've just been hanging out, talking to different females that I'm interested in. And so I'm watching my mind wander. I'm noticing myself start to crave for that level of intimacy that I haven't had in a long time. But it's different. I'm not trying to like get one off. I'm not fantasizing about what I want to do sexually. I'm not like undressing them in my mind. It's a whole different thing now. It's more like an emotional thing now. It's more like I just like would love for there just to be somebody. I just kind of want to like cuddle and just be there for somebody. I don't know what it is. I think this is just kind of part of my instinct as a man playing out here. But it's happening in a much more wholesome way because my brain is changed from doing this. So that's exciting to see, but it's also at the same time I'm very trepidatious moving forward because I can see that, you know, just by having an attraction towards a female, my mind has a way of sort of like latching on to that as if there's some solution for something inside of me that exists outside in that hypothetical relationship or what might unfold, if that makes sense. So I'm careful because I don't want to go into anything with a sense of like incompleteness in myself, because then I'm naturally going to try and use this person to help complete or fulfill some sense of lack that I have. This is the essence of like codependency in relationships. Most relationships are that way. And I've had so much codependent toxic relationships in my life that I'm through with it. So I'm being very, very cautious and reflecting on myself as much as I possibly can as I do this. And I'm finding that it's actually, I think, a positive move. It's a good move to do some dating on this path, and study yourself. Just do it with consciousness and understand that you are putting yourself in temptation's way, and it might make it harder to continue to retain. It might open up some new ideas in your mind that maybe you haven't been thinking about that might tempt you towards certain activities, let's say. But at the same time, what it's going to do is there's this amazing phenomena I'm noticing where the opposite sex has this way of reflecting you back to you. in a very clear way, and oftentimes in a way that we don't necessarily like. Like, I'll have reflected back to me, like this one girl in particular that I've been talking to is a very post-therapy type of chick. She's very evolved, and she's wonderful. I really like her. And just the little bit of experience I've had with her so far, I've noticed there's this amazing phenomena of just even a little bit of relating to her, where she's reflecting back to me some things that I didn't know were still going on with me. It's kind of like exposed some things, like shined a flashlight on some areas that I still have some work to do in. And it's amazing. It's difficult. It's like a challenge. And it's hard to go from feeling like you're on top of the world and you're just crushing it to like, oh man, I still have a lot of growing to do. It's humbling, but at the same time, it's like, oh, this is a good thing. I think this is part of how it's supposed to work in a healthy relationship, is that the opposite genders have this way of sort of reflecting truths back to each other. And so we get to explore those. Ideally, we don't engage in these like toxic patterns where we're using each other to try and heal ourselves, but we get to just explore ourselves as this other person is reflecting back to us things we may not have seen or known about ourselves. And then we get to dive into that, and we get to do our own inner work on that stuff, so that if we do end up in some sort of intimate relationship with a person, we get to go into it as somebody who knows how to self-regulate, who's somebody that's self-contained and knows how to work on their own stuff and not reach out and be a parasite or an energy vampire, or a simp, or be obsessive, you know? So it's a practice. So this is a new level for me, you guys, is being in this zone of being like married to God, being a celibate, staying on retention, but also exploring this new world of dating. So, man, I think that's all I got for you guys. I hope this resonates with y'all. Again, thank you all for the support. You guys are amazing. I love y'all. I'm going to get into the gym and get on with my day. Peace and blessings.